So something y'all don't know about me is that I love Resident Evil. I love their movies. I have all their movies. I'm sorry. Let me correct that. I have their animated movies. I do not like their live action. Let me just. To be real, I have no idea how they made so many of them back in the day. Like the Mila, I forgot her name, Mila something. Who, the main actress for Resident Evil. I don't. To this day, I'm like they must have been a big fan base for that because I could not stand those movies. So let me just make that clear. No, not the live action. I'm a big fan of their animated movies, but also love the games. I love how they brought back some classic ones. So I came into the Resident Evil universe a little late. I wasn't into it early as everybody else was, like when they first came out. So when they did the remastered versions, that was cool for me to get into the feel of playing the game. And after that third one, was that the first remake? Yeah, Resident Evil 3 with Jill, right? Yeah, yeah, it was 3. That was the first one I played. Ever since then, I've been a fan and been watching their movies of the actual characters and so on and so forth. And I love this one. But a friend of mine, I was talking to someone about this. I was like, "What? Is there any news of any Resident Evil?" Because I'm shocked. It's been what, a year, 2 years since the Resident Evil 4 remake. It's been a while, and there's been no news or anything with Resident Evil game. Are they making a new one, or are they doing another remake, or what? Then lo and behold, there is actually a video. It's 3 months old. It's from the Critical Gamer. I'll put the original video description below. Oh, I see the thumbnail. So it's the Critical Drinker. I reacted to a video of his before. So he has another channel called the Critical Gamer. I didn't know that. But he apparently has some news about a new Resident Evil game. Resident Evil 9 latest rumors and revelations. So I'm interested in seeing where they go with this. Yeah, this was 3 months ago. So, but just the fact that we haven't had any trailers or anything from Capcom is very weird. So I'm interested in seeing where are they going with this new Resident Evil story. Are they going to continue it from after the latest one, or well, they have to, right? Well, no, they could go to a new storyline and actually use other characters as well. I don't know. So let's just see what the Critical Gamer has that Capcom's not even talking about that I haven't seen. But latest rumors and revelations. I'll make sure to put the original video in the description below. But I'm curious to see where this goes.
So, it's now been more than 3 years since Resident Evil 8 hit the shelves, and while I'd be lying,
Dang, 3 years?
entry in the series.
Yeah, 3, because I said it was 2 for Resident Evil 4 remake, and that remake came after this one. So yeah, 3. That makes sense.
Because who on earth wanted a continuation of
Wait, what happened?
So, it's now been more than 3 years since Resident Evil 8 hit the shelves, and while I'd be lying if I said it was my favourite entry in the series, because who on earth wanted a continuation of the Ethan Winters storyline, the ending certainly opened up a lot of possibilities for where the Resident Evil saga might go next. And
I like that game. It wasn't the best one, but I enjoyed it.
Classified channel or anything to
I wish though that this, because y'all never knew my opinions of this game because I never played it online for y'all. But I wish this was more stretched out. This scene with Lady, I always get her name wrong. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The lady that everybody's like, oh, she's so hot. Her. I thought that she had a bigger role in the game. And it was crazy. Once you, spoiler alert, beat her, that was it. It was like, oh, okay. I really thought it was going to be more of you being in the house. You know, she's chasing you with the other vampires and all that other stuff. I thought it'd be more of that. And so that was the one disappointment of the game. But I'm glad that other stuff in the game was still entertaining. I enjoyed it. It was just I came in expecting more of her.
Not have to wait too long to find out. Now, I should stress that these are rumours at this point, and we don't know anything for sure until Capcom makes an official announcement. But
okay, so they haven't really made an official. Okay.
For scoops like these, so I'm willing to go on a bit of faith here. According to the rumours, the premise for Resident Evil 9 is that it centres around Leon Kennedy and Jill Valentine.
Oh, good. Those are my favorite.
Investigate a secret facility on a remote island that's apparently been used to manufacture clones of Evelyn, the creepy little girl slash creepy old woman from Resident Evil 7. The action will see them fight their way through dilapidated villages, misty forests, and abandoned hospitals as they take on a local moon-worshipping cult and zombies infected with the mold virus while searching for a vaccine to ultimately stop the spreads. Backing them up over the radio will be Chris Fuck Boulders Redfield and the walking meme legend that is Barry Burton.
But yeah, Leon and Jill are my
Too
favorites.
close. You were almost a Jill sandwich.
I wonder, are they
Never
going to
let
go
this
third
time
person
change
or
your
first
Barry.
person on this
Each
one?
character will apparently be stalked by their own unique enemy that follows them throughout the game, kind of like Mr. X from Resident Evil 2.
I was literally about
in
to say
Jill's
that.
case, it'll be a giant monster with an axe known as the Goat Man, and in Leon's case, it'll be a witch that tries to seduce him. Nice work if you can get it. But how much of that stuff is actually
I mean,
real is debatable, since both characters end
she
up
tried to kill you,
infected by
but
the mutamycin
if she's a
virus,
looker.
which causes the kind of wild hallucinations
Leon always
that
gets
usually only
those.
come out after a couple of pints of moonshine. These rumours were backed up by further leaks of supposed playtests that happened in April and September this year, which suggests that the game must be pretty far along in development by this point.
Wait.
Jill's
Let me
playthrough
go back because I was talking over what he was saying.
And in Leon's case, it'll be a witch that tries to seduce him. Nice work if you can get it. But how much of that stuff is actually real is debatable, since both characters end up infected by the mutamycin virus, which causes the kind of wild hallucinations that usually only come out after a couple of pints of moonshine. These rumours were backed up by further leaks of supposed playtests that happened in April and September this year, which suggests that the game must be pretty far along in development by
Yeah,
this point.
wow.
Jill's playthrough dumped her into an abandoned hospital, which as far as Resident Evil environments go is more fundamental than a broken pool table in a Scottish pub. Leon's playtest in September put him in a research lab where his objective was to track down the evil mastermind behind the development of the Evelyn clones. Because again, a Resident Evil game without a final lab level where all the dark secrets are revealed is like a games journalist without a political chip on their shoulder bigger than King Kong's first dump of the day. Anyway, this is what we know so far, so what do I reckon about all of this? Well, it seems plausible enough considering what we saw in the previous two games. It's clearly intended to wrap up the Mold storyline by tracing Evelyn's origin back to her creators, which I'm fine with because I feel like this story's run its narrative course now anyway. Evelyn was an interesting little mystery to
Yeah,
unravel in
I agree. It's
RE7,
time
but I was
to
never
close the book on
particularly
this
invested
one.
in her as a character. The Molded were functionally similar to zombies in terms of game mechanics, only not as viscerally compelling because they never showed up in large enough numbers to be a
You know what?
threat.
I felt the same way for Resident Evil 7. What I just said about 8 was that when you're in the house in 7, I thought that was going to be longer. You was dealing with the family. I thought that whole scene where you're on the table, you were at the dinner table with them, with the father, and you was dealing with him. I really thought that was going to be longer. Him and Lady, man, I'm terrible with names, y'all, remembering them. I'll just say Lady D. Those two were characters I just knew was going to have a huge, more lengthy time in the game, and it was much shorter than I expected. I was like, oh, dang! Now, thank God Capcom made everything else entertaining, because I ain't gonna front. If it wasn't, I'll be sitting there really disappointed. Like, man, that's it. That's all we get of her. But no, shout out to them for the game still being good. But I also hope it has to be. There's no way with Jill and Leon, you're using them, that it's not going to be third person. I like the first person aspect as well, but if I'm going to be playing as Jill or Leon, I'd rather get that in third. Personally. So, yeah.
So get the impression this is going to represent more of a shift back towards the classic Resident Evil style of science-based horror, with only little hints towards the supernatural with moon-worshipping death cults and witches and stuff. RE7 gave us a very effective take on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, at least
Yeah,
for the first
it
few hours
did.
before it tried to
That's why I
force in
wanted more of that.
series elements that worked about as well as trying to open a strip club in the Vatican, and 8 went all in on the gothic horror theme with vampires and werewolves and giant Eastern European castles. Again, that stuff worked fine as a novelty, but it's the kind of card you can only really play once, and tonally it felt like these games were drifting away from the rest of the series, like we were starting to forget what Resident Evil even is. I guess what I'm saying saying is that I'm fine with it returning to more grounded concepts of horror. The return of series veterans like Jill, Chris, Barry, and Leon is exactly the kind of palate cleanser we need after slogging through 2 games with Mr. fucking personality Ethan. The fact is, I've kind of missed those goofy bastards, and bringing them back
He was
together
annoying,
again feels
but I
like
still
a
enjoyed the
long-overdue
game.
family reunion. Jill and Leon working together is one
Yes.
of those dream pairings that fans have been waiting for years,
That's what
if
I
not
want.
decades, to finally see. And yeah, I know they technically work together in Death Island, but let's not talk too much about that one. I've always viewed the animated movies as existing in their own separate continuity, so this is the first time they'll have actually worked together in a traditional
I love
video
those movies.
game.
I have
And
this
to
one.
admit, I'm curious to see how they spark off each other at this point. Neither one of them are the fresh-faced rookies they were back in 1998. They're both carrying a lot of baggage now, and it'll be cool to see how the writers explore that. It'll also be interesting to see how the game deals with the fact that, well, both of these characters are pretty fucking old now. By my reckoning, Jill is like 50 by this point, and Leon is in his
Oh, excuse me.
mid-40s at least. It's an issue
That is
the
true. I don't
rest of
think
the
they'll go
games
down
have
that
struggled
route
with
of making
over
them
the
old.
years. The need to reconcile the passage of time in a series that's almost 3 decades old now, with the desire to have legacy characters stay young and strong enough to do the kind of crazy shit you see on screen. Weirdly enough, Revelations 2 was one of the few games to make an actual concession to aging characters. Both Barry and Claire look noticeably older than they did in their early appearances. Chris has gotten bigger and burlier over the years, but otherwise he hasn't changed much, and Leon achieved his ultimate form in Resident Evil 4 and basically stopped aging at that point. The rumours seem to suggest that we'll see a visibly older Leon, while Jill will apparently look the same as she did in the Resident Evil Nemesis remake. If I was an optimistic man, I'd
Interesting.
say the experiments that Wesker did on her slowed the aging process to the point where she barely changes now. Then again, it could just be that Capcom want Jill to stay young and hot forever because ultimately, sex sells.
You're right.
Either way, I have to admit, I'm not entirely unhappy with this turn of events. Remakes aside, it's been quite a while since I've played a Resident Evil game that actually felt like Resident Evil, and it'll be nice to reconnect with a group of characters that have been part of my gaming life since I was like 12 years old. I guess now all we can do is wait and see what Capcom brings us.
Yeah, 'cause
in the meantime,
wait.
better stock up on green herbs and shotgun shells because it's likely to be a long night. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.
Yeah, we don't know what's happening over there with Capcom because this video was 3 months ago and still haven't heard a thing. I don't know. Maybe they had a little slip up and they have to fix it. So who knows? But to have Jill and Leon together, that's going to be awesome. I'm definitely down for that. Like I said, they're my favorite. To be real, I know this is not the most popular Resident Evil game, but I would love a remake of Resident Evil 6. That game is fun. I mean, it's a lot of crazy moments. I mean, a lot of them. But it's a video game. You know what I'm saying? Chris hitting a big old rock. I mean, like I said, there's a lot of crazy moments. But there is a thing, like I say this with movies. There are some movies that are dumb, but it's still fun. That's how I felt with Resident Evil 6. It was dumb, a lot of dumb moments, but it was a lot of fun. Like, I'll replay that game. So anyway, that's just something I would like, but on top of what they're making here. But let me know in the comment section how you feel about it. And yeah, I'm also waiting for another Resident Evil movie. These animated movies. Oh, I forgot. There's a rumor that they're starting over the live action of Resident Evil and actually copying the games this time. That's what I heard. We'll see how much that is true and if they do it right. Because didn't they sort of did that already? But the cast was all over the place and it was terrible acting and all that. Regardless, if it's true they're starting over, good. Just get the casting right, get the writing right, and the video games gives you the story, so just copy that, and we're good. But anyway, we'll see. I guess we'll just have to wait. But anyway, thank y'all so much for tuning in. I'll see you later.